Ade, what's your story?
So I started actually started RightCom in South Africa. You know, that's the first country where I started building on the business, and I couldn't raise funds to to kickstart it. So I moved from South Africa, and then I landed in Nigeria, hoping that it's going to be better for me to kick off the business. So that's 10 years, 12 years ago. Like funding, it was a bit more difficult to get funding than it is today back then, especially in a software environment. And then I'm in the B2B space, not consumer software such as e-commerce platform or payment platform as trending as I say. So landed in Nigeria, extremely difficult to have the right connection at the right time. And then I was burning cash. I was burning savings that I had, and I started with my savings, but I needed to inject more cash in order to kind of accelerate. But then I have to leave Nigeria because of that. So again, you have to be driven by something that's beyond the environment you live in, right? And then believe that what you want to put out there has a strong value. So I moved out from Nigeria and then landed in Ghana and finally managed to get this ball rolling. And then we got our first clients some 11 years ago. And then what shocked me back then was that we have been able to win an international RFP launched by a company that was doing over 50 billion revenue and more than 200,000 employees in the world. And back then, we just 10 people, like less than 10 people. So being able to win in that space and beat all the global businesses that were playing in the same space as RightCom, it kind of made me feel back then as when you have an expertise, when you're good at what you're good at, somebody who needs your service, somebody who needs your product, if they find you, they will go with you. And then it took us a lot of resilience, trying again after failing in South Africa, after failing in Nigeria, after failing in Ghana first time. It took us a lot of time and then a lot of money wasted, by the way. A lot of saving that I spent, hundreds of thousands that I lost. But then big lesson that I learned after it, and it doesn't matter how small you are, there is a window of opportunity, and then you have to be resilient. You have to be very persistent in pushing that dream that you have, and that's what made me through that first, let me say, bunch of challenges that we have the first years. But of course, you have more challenges, every single year, the different. But then you learn from joking about those challenges, and then you get even more better prepared to face whatever comes whatever comes your way. Then.
That's fantastic. I think Ade raises a second learning, out of this session, is that failure and invention are like your eyebrows. They come together. You're not going to get rid of it. And in fact, we kind of say jokingly that, failure is a good thing. Nobody likes to feel it, but it has really powered the ability to be resilient in the continent. And so I always remember, I'm not going to get rid of one eyebrow and think the other one's going to have to get painted in. They stay together and we've got to make it happen. And those two things, failure and invention, always come together. But let's talk a little bit about your journey as, business entrepreneurs. Like what have you seen as the biggest skill set that you needed to develop quickly? What's the biggest muscle that you're always exercising?
So my biggest skill my biggest skill when I started, and then still my biggest skill, I think, is the sales. I've been able to sell RightCom to businesses. I've been able to sell our products. I have a background of B2B sales in selling to large organizations in the world, so that helped me a lot. I know how to handle conversation with of CS level people, and then these are very long sales cycle, and then it's not the same as selling a chocolate to a consumer in your shop. So, and I'm very strong at that. So
Just as hard.
well, it doesn't take 2 years to a consumer to make his mind if he want to eat the chocolates or not. But it would definitely take 2 years to a huge organization to make a decision, sign with you. Yeah. So that's what I'll highlight as one of my best skills, and then also something that I did transfer to my sales team. Yeah.
Nice.
In addition to that, Ade, I think for me, Carol, it's in many ways giving people a reason to believe, right? A reason to believe in me, in the business, and that cuts across the customers who come in every day. Do they believe in the brand? What am I doing? And being able to work to ensure that there's an authenticity in what we're delivering, to ensure that they do believe and they stick with us. Or is it my team? Giving them a reason to follow and believe in this vision to build. It's not easy. So being able to manage that, I think, is something that that muscle that I keep working at, because it's what would set us apart and what would ensure that there's sustainability and that we stand the test of time in this market.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I also think I agree with that. Like for me, I find that, the messy side of the business is dealing with people all the time, whether you're dealing with the regulator, the government comes and raises down your store. I had a similar experience. Is one day we came and the council decided that our office was in a residential area and just closed off the office. Like everybody showed up at 8:00 and they couldn't get into the office, no notice, nothing. And understanding how to deal with those situations, understanding how to manage people in the context of the continent, given our different cultures and our different traditions that come to play in the workplace. And also that it's a struggle, it's hard work for everybody, for the entrepreneur, for the employee, for the regulator. It's hard work for everybody. And I find that side of the business has been possibly for me the biggest thing that I have had to consciously develop as a skill set, is really managing and understanding people at all those different levels, to be able to get the best out of them. Because I think that, you get to a point where your success is very much dependent on the success of the other people around you.
Absolutely.
I think there was
Carol, do you want us to take some of the questions?
Yeah, I see there's a couple that are asking, what's the greatest support you've gotten as an entrepreneur?
So I will let Ada speak.
Okay, I'll add maybe I'll merge the other question as well on government support, because I'm someone who, as an entrepreneur, I've been very vocal, criticizing the government when they don't do enough for young entrepreneurs trying to build in this country or in our countries. And part of that advocacy and speaking out at some point, especially after COVID, and trying to build after lockdowns and places were shut down and revenues just disappear overnight. At the time, the Nigerian government was only doing less than 1% of the GDP in support to support the economy, compared to other countries, and even in the developing world doing nearly up to 10%. So at the time, the government eventually did do something, and they supported entrepreneurs with loans, with a little bit of money, but it was something, especially at a time like that. Everything counted, and these were cheap loans, low interest rates, long, a nice moratorium. So that is something we need more of, not just when there's a crisis like COVID. I think the government still needs to do a little bit more, and just in general, the support I get from, I think, Carol, you mentioned it, just the community of people going through similar things. I think has been one of the biggest things for me, that I can pick up the phone and call and get guidance. And for those who don't have a network or don't have the people they can call. I just hope that we can keep building platforms, especially even these conversations we're having now at today's summit, to ensure that people build the connections that they need to thrive.
Excellent. Ade, what about you? What would you tell young people looking to set up business in Africa now?
So I'll tell them first and foremost to start, because the continent does need a lot of entrepreneurs, and then to look for mentors, to look for people who have been there before them, not necessarily in their field, and that's one of the most valuable assets a young entrepreneur will have at his early stage. Surround yourself with people who can help you do the right thing at the right time. It doesn't matter how good or how smart you are. You need people who have been there before you if you really want to go far.
That's an African proverb. I think we can end there with it. It says, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, take people along with you. And I think we've run out of time, guys. This conversation can go on for a long time. And maybe we will have a part 2. We'll ask JR for a part 2, because I think they're really valuable lessons and more that we can share with entrepreneurs going forward. But it was really, really fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Ada, for that experience. You must write a book. Thank you, Ade, for again sharing with us. I didn't even know that you had hopped 3 countries and just stayed on the course. That's really invaluable information. So we're looking for a streetwise MBA course for African students.
Yep.
With the reality, yes.
Fantastic.
This is awesome. Great. Thank you, everyone.
So thank you